Hi students. So in today's class we will see another topic in sequential circuit design. That is we have in sequential we have two types of circuits. Those are synchronous and asynchronous circuits. And in the last class already we were seeing different types of flip-flops. That is the function of flip-flop, what is a flip-flop, and what are different flip-flops. Those are nothing but RS flip-flop and JK flip-flop and master slave JK flip-flop and D flip-flop, T flip-flop. So already we seen so how that flip-flop functionalities will give respective outputs. So how they set and reset during their applied inputs. So in this sequential circuits, another type of circuits are resistors and counters. So in today's class we will see what is a resistor and what are the different type of resistor and how that resistor will store the data and in what way that resistor will transfer the data from one device to another device and one device to another device, and this same concepts will we have to define or write in some of the programming methods. Those are nothing but HDL program, hardware description language method. So that maybe we have to write that code in terms of VHDL or Verilog. So we have to define those resistors concepts, that operation and the counters operation in a specific format. Those are nothing but within by using some library instructions. That library we have to use that instruction may as either it may be defined in terms of VHDL, HDL programming or Verilog programming. So first of all we have to see the contents of this video. So in this we have basically we have different data formats of the resistors and what is a buffer resistors and what are the shift resistors. So again this shift resistors we have different type of shift, that is serial in serial out resistor and serial in parallel out resistor and parallel in serial out resistor and parallel in parallel out parallel out resistors. So we will cover these topics in this video. So first of all the flip-flop is a basically the basic building block for either it may be a sequential circuit, either it may be a JK flip-flop or D flip-flop, T flip-flop or resistor or any sequential circuit. So the basic building block for any sequential circuit, that is a flip-flop. So this flip-flop is a 1-bit memory cell which can be used for storing the digital data. So this flip-flop can be used for to store a specific data. So either it may be digital data that may be either 0 or 1. So we have to store that information in a device by using the flip-flop. So next we have to increase the storage capacity in number of bits. So we have to use a group of flip-flops. Such a group of flip-flops is known as a resistor. So we have to increase so more than 1 bit. So either it may be 4 bit or 8 bit or 16 bit, 32 bit or 64 bit. So we have to use we have to increase that the storage capacity in number of bits. So we have to use a group of flip-flops. So that group of flip-flops is call it as a resistor. So a simple resistor. So these resistors and counters are the most important sequential logic circuits that are widely used in digital system. So these are I can take any type of digital system, that is either it may be a switch or either it may be a router or either it may be a computer or laptop. So we have to use these type of sequential logic circuits. So in this sequential logic system, the flip-flop is the basic building block. So these resistors and counters are available in IC forms. So those IC forms are mainly that is medium scale integration. So in case of that will be implemented in terms of medium scale integration. So the design of these sequential logic circuits using flip-flops so has been that will be introduced by following the medium scale integration devices. So basically a register is a group of flip-flops, so it is suitable for storing binary information, as well as a counter is essentially a register, and the job of the counter is so it is obviously one of counting events, so that the counter may be counting the events or counting the periods of time that will be that periods of time or that events that has to put into a sequence. So that will be the name itself, it is counting. So based on the order, the number of events, whatever the number of events passing through that counter, that will be successfully count by that specific device. So here we have to use a simplest possible registers and counters, so that will consist only the flip-flops, so without any external gates. So the basic difference between a register and counter is that register has no specified sequence of states, so that the register doesn't have a specified sequence of state. So the registers and counters are used in mainly the design of digital systems, that is nothing but digital computers and so on, and the registers are used in that will be to design different sequential circuits. So those counters are mainly used for to generate timing variables to sequence and control the operations in a digital system. So these are introduction of what is a register and what is a counter, and where we have to use registers and counters in a sequential circuit. So coming to the data formats, that is a different type of registers. So the data can be entered in serial, that means serial means one bit at a time, or in the parallel form. Parallel means all the bits at the same time into a register, and those will be, that is the difference between serial and parallel. Serial is nothing but so we have to put bit by bit in a serial manner, that will be shifting from one device to another device, that means one register to another register, or one flip-flop to another flip-flop. So parallel means, so we have to bit, either it may be 4 bit or 8 bit or 16 bit. So we have to put those bits at the same time into a device or into a register, and that stored data can be retrieved in the serial or parallel form. So that stored data we can retrieve either in maybe serial or parallel form. So here we have different modes of operation in these registers. Those are nothing but serial in, serial out. So in short form we can call it as SISO, and serial in, parallel out, in short form we can call it as SIFO, SIPO. Another one, parallel in, serial out, in short form we can call it as PISO, PISO. And another one is parallel in, parallel out, in short form we can call it as PIPO, PIPO. So these are the different modes of operation. We will do some the operations, that is we have to shift the data from one device to another device. So these modes will be executed in different type of registers, So basically an array of flip-flops required to store the binary information, so that we can call it as a register. And in this, an n-bit register has a group of n flip-flops. So here a n-bit register require n flip-flops and is capable of storing any binary information containing n bits. So in other words, the number of flip-flops are required as equal to the number of bits in the binary word. So the number of flip-flops are required as equal to the number of bits in the binary word. That means, so if you are 4 digits or 4 binary digits in a binary word or 8 digit. So for that, so we have require n flip flops. That means a 4 flip flop. For 4 bit we require 4 flip flops, that is a 4 bit register. And if we have 8 bits, so we require 8 bit 8 flip flops, that is called 8 bit register. So that is by taking one flip flop for each bit, that will takes one flip flop for each bit. So here next one we will see what is the buffer register and what is the shift register. So before that we have to see what is the need for registers. So there are two functional characteristics for registers. Those are nothing but temporary storage, and second one is shifting capability. So but the main function or why we are designing the register means to perform to store a single bit or group of bits within a device, that is a temporary storage and the shifting. So that register has capable to shift shifting capability is the main achievement of the register. And the register are commonly used for the temporary storage of data of binary information within a digital system. So this storage capability makes it an important type of memory device. So this storage capability makes an important type of memory device. So this is one of the functional characteristics of the register. And the shifting capability of register permits the movement of data from one stage to another stage or into or out of the register upon the application of clock pulses. So then we can name the register as a shift register. So when it will be that register or that device has a specific capability, that means whenever it will be shifting, that is that data will, the register permits the movement of data from stage to stage or one device into another device or one to out of the register. So that type of, so by that will be that movement will be based on the application of clock pulses. Then we can name the register as a shift register. So we can call it as that is a shift register. So here we have two functional characteristics to make the register an important type of sequential logic circuit and widely used within the digital system. So in general, that will be used, the register is used for storing or shifting data that will be entered into it from an external source and process that will doesn't have any characteristic internal sequence of states. So here that will be, so we have another information to know about the concept of storing the data in registers. So how the register will store the data in a specific device. So there is nothing but we can consider the single flip flop as a storage element. So already we know D type, that is delay type flip flops operation. So that delay type flip flop has one input and clock signal, and based on the clock signal, if that clock signal is high, so that information, so that Q will be set, that output is also Q1. So now we will see we can consider the concept of storing the binary information either 1 or 0 in a flip flop. So a binary 1 is applied to the input as shown in this example. That will be that binary 1 is applied to the input, and a clock pulse is applied that it stores 1 by setting the flip flop. When the input 1 is removed, so you have to note that flip flop remains in the set state. So thereby that means the output will we getting the output as 1 value, that is a digital 1. So that is the meaning of that will storing the value of 1 at that instant whenever the clock pulse is high. So the same procedure is applied to the storage of 0. So by wiring these flip-flops, we can form a resistor. So the storage capacity of a resistor is the number of bits, that is ones and zeros of digital data that it can retain. So that means it is capable to store one bit of information within that device. So each stage of resistor that will represents one bit of storage capacity, and the number of stages in a resistor that will determines its total storage capacity. So in this example we will see only one bit of information. So if you are using more number of flip-flops, that is n, for n bit when we take n flip-flops, so then it will easily that will decides that resistor determines its total storage capacity. Next we will see a buffer resistor. So let's assume that the word to be stored is we have 3 bits, that is B3 is the MSB bit and B1 is the LSB bit, B3, B2, B1. So here we take B0, that is B2, B3, B1, that is 4 bit. We have 1 0 1 0 1 0, that is here B3 bit is 1 and B2 bit is 0 and B1 bit is 1 and B0 is the 0. So these bits are connected to the D inputs of the 4 D flip-flops. So then clock pulse is applied, that corresponding to the first negative edge of the clock pulse, the outputs of all the D flip-flops will follow their respective inputs. So that means based on Q3, Q2, Q1, Q0 is equal to B3, B2, B1, B0, and we get 1 0 1 0. Even if the inputs are now changed, the output remains latched to 1 0 1 0 because there is no lower triggered clock pulse, because that will till the next negative edge of the clock arrives at the input. So therefore buffer resistor is capable of storing the digital data. So this buffer resistor will capable of storing the digital data. So now we will see a simple resistor that is known as a buffer resistor. So how it stores a digital data. So the delay flip-flop is used to, because it's simply transfers. So here we have that detailed diagram. So here we name it as B0 as a flip-flop 0 and B1 as a flip-flop 1, B2 as a flip-flop 2 and B3 as a flip-flop 3. So here we have the outputs, that is Q3, Q2, Q1 and the Q0 and some clock pulse, that is common clock pulse, will be applied to same flip-flop. So here we have a positive edge triggering and the negative edge triggering. So here in this logic circuit, so we have to note this, the X bit set of the flip-flops for loading. When the first clock pulse arrives, all the X bits are loaded into D inputs of all the flip-flops. So here whenever the clock pulse generated, at the time all the X bits are loaded into D inputs of all the flip-flops. So then the stored binary word, so that will that binary word become as Q is equal to the overall output, that is 4 bit output Q is equal to, that is MSB to LSB, that is Q3, Q2, Q1, Q0. Again, otherwise we can name it as X3, X2, X1, X0. So for example, if you want to store a 4 bit binary word, that is 1010 in the buffer resistor, then the bits are applied at the positions of B0 and B1, B2, B3, that is X bits, as X3 is equal to 1, or in other ways B3 is equal to 1, B2 is equal to 0, B1 1 and B0 is equal to 0. So whenever the first clock pulse is applied, then the stored binary word Q is equal to 1 0 and 1 0. So during this condition, that whatever the overall output of this diagram is whatever we applied the bit positions at B0, B1, B2, B3. So that will be the outputs, that is 1 0 1 0. So therefore the operation it is very simple and very easy to use. So but there is no control over the X bits, so hence logic control circuit is needed. So for this purpose, so we have to see this another diagram, that is controlled buffer resistor. So for this purpose we have to consider a controlled buffer resistor. So here we have to note that the resistor consists of group of flip-flops and gates that affect their transition. So the flip-flops hold binary information and the gates control when and how new information is transferred into the resistor. So whenever the clear signal is at high, all the flip-flops are in reset and the circuit is ready for operation. Whenever the clear signal will be turning to low condition, so in this case the circuit the control input is load and it determines the entire circuit operation. So that will decides so in this position the circuit, the control input is in the load condition. So during that condition control circuit determines that entire circuit operation. So when the load signal is at low, then the X bits cannot reach the flip-flops. So therefore the resistor contents are unchanged at this condition. When the load signal is at high, the X bits are transmitted to the data inputs and flip-flops are ready for loading. So at the time, so if the load is high, then the clock pulse is also applied, then the X bits are loaded into the flip-flops and the stored binary code will becomes that Q is equal to overall Q is equal to Q3, Q2, Q1, Q0, that is equal to X3, X2, X1, X0, that is equal to B3, B2, B1, B0. So in controlled input, so that will be mainly depends on the loading condition. Whenever we use control circuit at the inputs of flip-flops, so that will be depends on the loading condition of the circuit. Loading, so that is the operation of buffer. Already we seen what is a shift resistor and what is a buffer resistor. So now we will see the data movement in the resistors. So basically the data can be entered either in serial, in register form, in serial form or in parallel form, that is one bit at a time, or all the bits simultaneously form, that can be retrieved in the at the output we can retrieve the bits in the form of serial or in parallel form. So the data movement in the resistor is concerned with two characteristics. Those are nothing but either these are how to data binary information located into the resistor. So how we have to read the data from the resistor. That means the movement will be mainly we have to concern based on these two characteristics. That is, we have how the data of binary information is located, how we are moving the data into the resistor, that is into the flip-flop, and again how we are reading or we are getting or we are retrieving the data from the resistor. So by basing on these characteristics, the resistors can be classified into four possible modes of operations. Those are nothing but serial in, serial out, and serial in, parallel out, parallel in, serial out, and the parallel in, parallel out. So we will see what is shift resistors and what type of that is SISO, SIFO, and FISO, FIFO. So in case so these are the four categories of resistors, and we will see how this will work in the resistors. How these mechanisms will work within the resistors, we will see in the next class. So what is how that shift operation, shift right operation, and parallel in, serial out operation. So that we will see in next class. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe DBS Talks.